Hello, I'm Byron Shaffner, and today you're going to get to know a little bit more about the Byronian Kingdom.
Hey everybody, my name is Desiree Mapp, and welcome to Getting to Know. We are on location today at the Duncanville Bookstore. Duncanville Bookstore is located at 101 West Camp Wisdom Road in Duncanville, Texas. If you are a lover of comics, collectibles, vintage and modern, check them out. They got them. They're located on the web at DuncanvilleBookstore.com. So shout out to Brian and the good folks at Duncanville Bookstore for allowing us to take up some of your square footage. We promise to leave it exactly as we found it. For those of you who are new to Getting to Know is a show where if you run a small business, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a leader in your community, we want to get to know you. We want to get to know your business. We want to get to know the inspiration behind your business. But for today, we're going to get to know a warrior for the gospel. He is IronKingz. He is Frontline. He is also the president of the infamous Byronian movie crew. And we're gonna get into that. But listen, I can already tell you that I know that today is going to be one of my favorite shows. So get your popcorn ready and welcome to the show, everybody, Minister Byron Shaffner. Welcome to the show, Byron.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here.
Long time coming.
Yes, a long time coming. And full disclosure, everybody, my husband and I have known Shaff, we call him Shaff, for about 6 years. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the stories that you may hear today, we've already familiar with, but you're in for a treat. Trust me when I tell you. Mm-hmm. So thank you for agreeing to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I just can't wait. I can't wait to share this with everybody. It's going to be a real treat. So we got a lot of ground to cover. Mm-hmm. So I just want to start at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Where are you from?
I'm from Dallas, born and raised.
Born and raised. Mm-hmm. Brothers, sisters?
Have one brother. Name is Jason. Mm-hmm. 4 years younger than me. Married. Mm-hmm. Children. Mm-hmm. Nice house. Lives in DeSoto. Mm-hmm. Everything except the white picket fence. Yeah. So.
Okay. We're in this bookstore today. It's a comic book store. Like I said, if you guys haven't, I encourage everybody to come check it out. I've never been in a place like this. I was happy when you agreed to do the interview. I thought this would be the perfect place for it because I know that you love comics, but you also love the gospel. And we're going to talk a little bit about both. But let's start with the comics. Where did that love come from?
You know, when I was a kid, I grew up watching the Adam West Batman, and watching it, I just became a fan of comics. And even though I always loved Batman, I was more of a Marvel person. You know, the Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk, Avengers. And when my dad took me to see Star Wars when I was 6 years old, when I saw Star Wars on the big screen, that just started the whole action figure collecting buzz, if you will. And so it's been downhill but uphill ever since.
What's downhill?
Downhill is meaning I was on a path that I couldn't stop. Okay. Uphill is all the joys that I experienced along the way. And then when I found out about this place, I've actually been shopping here since I was 12 before with the old owners. And I've just seen the show evolve, and I've seen the whole evolution of the store, and I love this place. I'm serious, love it.
Speaking of love, I know you have a love for the gospel. How old were you when you were called to preach?
I believe I was 15 years old. It was at the end of my 9th grade year in high school. I had given my life to Christ somewhere around my 5th or 6th grade year. Really got serious about my faith in the 8th grade. And at the end of my 9th grade year, that's when God called me to preach. I know God doesn't make mistakes, but if there was ever a blessed mistake that he ever made, I thought it was when he called me to minister.
How did you share that with your family? Did your family go to church? Were you brought up in the church, so to speak?
My mother took us to church. My dad went every now and then.
CME?
No, we were brought up Baptist.
No. CME. You said every now and then.
Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter. Yeah. So, yeah, my dad was kind of like that. But but the day that I announced my calling to the ministry, there were two other older guys who announced their calling as well, and I think they saw it coming, but they didn't see it coming. And so when I announced my call to a packed house Sunday morning, they were shocked. My mother kind of started crying a little bit. I think that was more out of confusion mixed with happiness, but just bewilderment. And my dad at the time thought I was making one of the biggest mistakes of my life. And at that time, he wasn't a follower of Christ, but later on, he changed his mind.
So you're in high school. So it's at ninth grade.
Ninth grade.
Did the other high schoolers know that you were a minister or that you were called to preach?
The high school that I went to, they knew I was serious about Christ. Some of them kind of thought I was kind of goofy or kind of spiritually weird. But when I accepted my call to preach, a lot of them weren't surprised, but they were shocked that someone that young would make a commitment that big. And I knew then it was for life. It wasn't a fad to me. And, every now and then I meet people and they say, Byron, are you still preaching? I'm, that's something I'll be doing to the day that I die. Now,
you infuse comics and movies into most of your sermons. Is that something you've always done since the first message, or how did that come about?
Let me tell you this. I believe that everybody has their own language. Like if you're into nature, you can go into the woods and get a revelation from God through nature that no one else can see but you, because that's what you like. If you're into shoes, you can go into a shoe store and get a revelation about God through shoes, because that is your language. This is my language. I've always liked comics and action figures and things like that. But what the common public doesn't realize about comics are just not for kids. Anyone who reads comics will see very quickly that there are a lot of adult themes and just life issues. Good versus evil, overcoming personal demons, if you will, to still serve a greater good, serving a purpose greater than yourself. There are so many spiritual themes that I can link to following Christ through comics. And so I've always done that. And it seems like the older I get, the more I do it.
I follow you on Facebook. You and IronKingz Ministries on Facebook. And I noticed that some of your posts, you are a fan of shows and movies that are not Christian based. Okay. The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead, yes.
Ninja Turtles, Transformers. How do you, what do you say to your critics who say you really shouldn't be,
now I'm gonna tell you,
especially with the Walking Dead, because that's about zombies, right? I've never seen it, but
I'm gonna say this. God is so big and he's so sovereign that he can even use something that doesn't pertain to him to speak for him. Now, most people, they don't bother me when it comes to Transformers, Ninja Turtles, Star Wars, but some like The Walking Dead, especially because it's so gory. But anybody who watches the show will see the show is really not about the zombies. And if you ever, those people who do follow me on Facebook, if you notice the things that I say about the show and about the gospel, they can't be denied. Like, for example, zombies are the walking dead. Ephesians chapter 2 says, before we came to Christ, we were dead in our trespasses and sins. So we are like the walking dead.
Right.
And so, and then in the Walking Dead, the survivors are constantly trying not to get bit or trying not to be devoured. And in the world that we live in, sin will either make you like itself or it will devour you. So it's something we always have to fight against. And what I do is, Jesus taught in parables. Jesus took things in everyday life that people could relate to and would use it to talk about the kingdom of God. I'm doing the same thing. And I guarantee you, most of the people that's into this kind of stuff, they may not come to church on Sunday morning. They may not come to a Bible study. But if I can somehow speak to them about the gospel in their own language, then I'll get a new audience. So that's what I do.
Speaking of going to church, You're the youth pastor at the Carrollton Chinese Church, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I've noticed something. I'm not sure if anybody else has noticed, but you're not Chinese.
No, I'm not. No.
So, how did that happen? And how long have you been the youth pastor? It's been a while, right?
I think I've been at CCC, well, Carrollton Chinese Church. I think I've been there about 5 going on 6 years. But what happened was when I was living in Waco, working at a church, somehow the Baptist General Convention of Texas heard about me, and they wanted to do their first retreat for their Chinese students, and they needed a speaker. And so they asked me would I come and speak, and I'm like, I don't mind coming, but you all realize that I'm dark chocolate. And so they said it doesn't matter, and just please come and speak. And when I spoke at that one event, there were other churches that were there, other Chinese churches, and when I spoke there, the floodgates opened. But it just goes to show you, underneath the skin, we're all the same. Yeah. And we're all human. And as long as we're human, we'll always have a need for God. So the senior pastor there, he allowed you to be you in your ministry and how you approach your messages. You were never told to change any of that, or never told. Check this out. Every Sunday when I go to church, I wear jeans, t-shirt, maybe sweatshirt. Sometime I even wore these fatigues, last Sunday. And even when I minister, they give me the freedom, the total freedom to be me. And I really appreciate that. And in doing so, God is able to effectively use me as me, which not only benefits me, but it also benefits them because I don't have to play a role. Yeah. And I so love that. So love that.
Who is Kingdom?
Kingdom, I should have brought him. Kingdom is my blue and gold macaw parrot. He's about 13 years of age. He'll be 14 in July. From what I understand, our birthdays are in the same month. And most people have a pit bull or a Rottweiler or a cat. I have a bird who thinks he's human and pitches a fit when he sees I'm leaving. When he saw me leaving to come up here this morning, you thought somebody would have been plucking him to death. But yeah, that's who Kingdom is.
You should have bought him. You could do the interview right with him on my shoulder.
You know what? And I could have done that, but the thing about Kingdom is Kingdom loves attention. And so if he saw me talking to you and then the bright lights, he would have been good, but he would have been messing with me the whole time. So
why wouldn't you get a dog or cat? Why a macaw?
Well,
and they're so pretty. I don't want to call it a bird. You know.
Yeah.
Why would you get a macaw?
Well, first of all, I've always been fascinated with exotic animals since I was a kid. Love going to the zoo then, still love going to the zoo now. But
Fort Worth or Dallas?
Oh my gosh. Dallas has made some great improvements. I love Dallas. I'll always rock Dallas and be faithful to Dallas, but you know what? I will use Dallas as an appetizer, but Fort Worth Zoo will be the entree.
Okay.
Yeah.
I found that the Dallas Zoo has a better aquarium area, than the Fort Worth Zoo does.
You know what? And see, I haven't been to Dallas in a while. Last time I tried to go was on Dollar Day, and we won't, never again. No. Won't do that again. But you know what? I love aquariums, and so I'm gonna have to check that out.
Have you been to the one downtown?
The Dallas World Aquarium, love it. Yeah. You know, here's my plan. Someday if I ever get married, I want to get engaged at the Dallas World Aquarium and then have the ceremony done at Disney World in Disney Chapel at one of their resorts. Yeah,
it's nice.
I have Mickey and Minnie and some other people in the audience, and
Have you been to the Perot Museum?
Not yet, but I really want to go.
Nice.
Really want to go.
Getting back to Kingdom, so why'd you choose to get, you said exotic animals?
In the 7th grade, we took a trip to California and we visited a distant relative. And while we were at our house, I was asked to go in a back room, I think, to get something. And I walked into this huge sunroom, and there was this huge cage and this big, beautiful, majestic looking red macaw on the top of the cage. And I was just
Was it real?
It was real. And the moment I saw him, that bird like imprinted on me to get him a car. And I've wanted one ever since.
Okay. I wore my t-shirt today because I know you love comics. And you are generally a person who's like a walking billboard for comics and ministry. You usually have like a comic with
On the front.
and then like a scripture on the back. Where does that start?
That started years ago. I just like to wear what I like, and I like to wear what means something to me. And I love comics, and I doubly love Christ. And so I read a statistic that said the average Christian t-shirt is read 3,000 times before it goes to a garage sale. So if I can wear something on the front that will catch someone's attention and zone them in, then when they look at the back, they get the message. And most people, when they speak this kind of language, they know exactly where I'm coming from. So that's why I do that.
How many t-shirts would you say you customize to that?
Oh my gosh. I know I have probably at least about 25, 30 good custom shirts that I've had done.
How do you decide which one you're going to wear for the day?
I don't know. I just feel it. You know, and there have been some days I've gotten up and I've wanted to wear this shirt, but then as I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, let me do this one. So it's just all about how the Lord moves me.
Do they ever end up in the garage sale, though? You ever just put it in the Goodwill?
I've given a few away, but I can't lie. Shirts that I have customized or had done for me personally are so hard to give away because I feel like I'm giving away part of myself. And but who knows? Someone else can wear it and wear it probably in a place where they'll be able to reach people that I probably can't. So I have to keep that in mind.
I'm gonna talk about your photography because that's just something that's developed within the last couple of years or so.
Last year, to be exact.
When you photo capture your figurines, how do you decide? What's the thought process and say, okay, I'm going to capture this one today, and the environment that we're going to do? What is that really all about?
Well, first of all, it started about a year ago on Christmas Day. I left the house and I had these real cool figures that I wanted to take pictures of. And when I started taking pictures of them, this story started forming in my mind. So 9 times out of 10, I have a story in my mind, and I'm trying to visually, with action figures, play that story out. And it's gotten so bad that I'll just be going throughout a day driving and look somewhere and say, man, that'll be a good background, or that'll be, look, and it just develops a nature of its own. Sometimes it feels like the story is going and telling me what to do. So yeah, that's what I do.
Speaking of stories, you are a really, really good storyteller. Has anybody ever told you that?
No.
You're a very good storyteller. I remember one time, I'm not sure if we were just talking about, if I heard you preaching, you told a story about somebody who owned a snake, and the snake was sick, and they took the snake to the vet. Do you remember that story? Can you share that story with us for a second?
There was this woman who had a snake, I think it was like a boa constrictor or a python, and the snake was acting weird. And when the woman would go to sleep at night, there were a couple of nights she woke up, and the next day the snake would be out of its aquarium in the bed with her, and he would be stretched out as long as she was. And when she finally took the snake to the vet to see what was going on, the vet checked him out and said nothing was wrong. And so she was ready to leave and take her snake home. And the veterinarian told her, I can't let you take this snake home. And she said, why? What's wrong? She said, nothing's wrong with the snake. But what the snake is doing is the snake is sizing you up when it lays next to you in bed because it plans for you to be its next big meal. So when he stretches out next to you in bed, he's actually measuring you to see if he can handle eating you. And I use that illustration in ministry a lot of times because that's exactly what happens. when a person gets to playing in sin and dealing with those things that are not of God, Satan is actually sizing them up to see the best way he can devour them.
Okay, I told you it was going to be good. Okay, now we're going to take a break in the show where we do Say It in 6.
Say It in 6.
Say It in 6 is a segment of the show where we get to know our guests a little bit better. So these are just some random questions that I wrote down. They haven't seen them before. Not that they've seen the other ones, but these are not related to anything that you do. But some is trivia, but they're good questions. Okay. Question number 1. If you could have any meal delivered to your doorstep right this second, what would it be?
It would be crab legs and fried crawfish tails.
From any place specific? Who's making it?
Does it have to be just from one place?
No.
I want my crab legs to be from Red Lobster. And I want my crawfish tails to be from Papa Do's.
Okay.
Hands down. Blend those two together and it's like a piece of heaven on earth. My God. Yes.
Okay. Question 2. Maybe this is like section 2 or part 2 because it's a fill in the blank. Now, the way we're going to do our fill in the blank, you have to fill in the blank. And then once you fill in the blank, tell me what that phrase means to you.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Conjunction, junction, what's that?
Function.
What memories does that have for you?
Days of absolute innocence before the dark days came. That was, I used to see that on Channel 8, ABC. And that was when life was innocent. Everybody was still alive. You didn't know about the ills of the world that you do now. So, age of absolute glorious innocence.
Okay. Second fill in the blank. I love it when a plan
works. I love it when a plan works. What does that make me think of? Really makes me think of my photo shoots. Because I hate when I go to do a photo shoot and I'm thinking one way and the reality of it goes completely different. You know, the sky changes, sun comes out when I want to stay in. So yeah. Together.
I love it when a plan comes together. Where's that from? You know where that's from?
No. 18. Oh my gosh, man! I haven't seen that since Jesus was in the 3rd grade. I mean, and I didn't watch the 18 too much.
Okay.
I would look at it to see Mr. T, but I never really watched the show too much.
Okay. Last fill in the blank. Oh, and I love this one. I found this one last night, and it kind of goes to what you were saying about the snake. When you look at the dark side, careful you must be, for the dark side.
Gosh, I can't believe.
Do you know it?
No. It's from Yoda said that.
And I know Yoda said it. Oh my goodness.
When you look at the dark side, careful you must be, for the dark side looks back.
The dark side looks back.
The dark side looks back.
Now see,
That's a deep one.
I could preach on that for 3 days.
So you notice when you were saying about you playing in sand, you thinking that you have it, and you look up and turn around, it has you.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so question number 3. We're in a comic book store, and I know you're a collector. Let's say you have to run in the safe room for whatever reason. You only have time to grab one collectible. What do you grab?
Oh my goodness. I could only grab one collectible.
And it's as you running towards the door. You can only have time to reach back and grab one thing.
That's hard. Oh, that's hard. I would probably grab my Michael Turner Kiani statue.
Who's Michael Turner?
Michael Turner was a great comic book artist. He has a comic called Aspen. well, Aspen is one of his characters. He has a comic called Fathom, and Aspen is in that. Well, Aspen has a warrior friend by the name of Kiani, and that Kiani statue is just so beautiful. I haven't opened it because I don't have the space to put it out, and I don't have a case worthy enough to hold it yet. And I feel bad in saying that, but that's probably one of the, my goodness.
It's irreplaceable. You can't replace it.
Yeah, you can't replace it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
If you were to change your name, what would you change it to?
Oh my goodness. I'd probably change it to Maximus the Ironclad or something like that. And I know.
What would people call you? Max?
No, Maximus. You know,
Would you be one of those people who insists? No, it's not Max.
Yeah,
it's
with
Maximus.
a name like that. With a name like that,
Okay.
you would have to. That, you know, that's like calling my mom by her first name. You know, no, you have to. The title has to fit the. No, I'd have to. Maximus.
Maximus the Ironclad. Okay, let's say you could go back in time and witness one event. From the Garden of Eden to today, what is the one event that you would need to be there to witness it in person?
I would love to see the flood, Noah's Ark.
Really? Why that?
Just imagining the water coming from above, water coming from beneath. That's always been hard for me to wrap my head around. Now, you know, it can rain in an hour and cover, you know, land with water, but just to see that, that's always, and then to see the actual ark with that much water hitting it with that intensely at one time, and it never turn over once.
Did you see the movie?
Yes. Let me tell you something. If I could burn every copy of that movie, I would. That movie made just about as much sense as Big Bird in a horror movie, in my opinion. I mean, it was so far from the Bible. Yeah, but I saw it though.
Yeah, okay. Last question. You're having a dinner party. You can invite 3 guests, dead, alive, or fictional character. Who would you invite?
Fictional?
Dead, alive, or fictional character?
Fictional, I would want to invite Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Because the conversations that I could have with a character like that, especially with his past. Number 2, I would invite Tony Bennett, the singer Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
He's still alive. If I could sit down and have breakfast for an hour and a half with any singer, I'd want to meet Tony Bennett.
Why Tony Bennett?
Tony is rich with so much culture, played an active part in the civil rights movement, and I love his music, and he is a wonderful painter. I would love that.
Really? I didn't know that about Tony Bennett.
Oh, Tony Bennett. Matter of fact, Harry Belafonte was the one that got him deeply involved in the civil rights movement, and he was close friends not only with Harry Belafonte but also with Dr. King. So, and just not because of that, but I just love him as a person. So I would love to have Tony Bennett there. So Wolverine, Tony Bennett, and
do you have all of his albums?
I don't have all of them, but I have the ones that are very significant to me. And the last person I would love to have there, who's dead, is Jim Henson. Jim Henson, the creator of the Muppets, creator of Sesame Street, because his what he did with puppets and to go inside his mind, I would love that. I would love that.
Okay, so that's it for Say It in 6. That was fun. I like doing that.
Yeah.
Very interesting questions. I want to talk a bit about Duncanville Bookstore. You've hinted on that this place has been around for you since you were 12 years old,
Now,
right?
I started shopping here when I was 12, but it's been here long before that. Yeah.
What do you think are some of the misconceptions that people have about comics? I know you said that some people think that it's for children, but it's not
Some of the misconceptions. Number one, that
I guess especially when it comes to like the collectibles, so like the figurines.
Number one, I think one of the greatest misconceptions that people have about this genre is that it's just for kids. Number two, that any adult that is into this type of stuff has a problem. I'm gonna tell you, if you go to a comic book show, you meet, and there are weird people in every walk of life.
Yes,
but
there are.
but when you go to a show like this, I've met doctors, I've met people in the military, I've met people in high positions, and this is just what they like. And then when it comes to the action figures, people don't realize how much money is involved in a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I saw one piece over there. It's going for $500, like a Transformer vintage.
Oh, a lot of the
Trucks,
vintage stuff.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I tell you something else. At one of our shows, in the first 20 minutes of the first day of one of our shows, guy walks up, buys 4 comic books, and pays $3,000. So,
Comic books like that?
like that. So there's a lot of money tied up in this. And I'm gonna tell you this too. If there wasn't that much money tied up into it, and if there wasn't any value in it, the San Diego Comic-Con wouldn't be as big as it is.
Yeah.
Because you got everybody and their grandmother jumping on that bandwagon now. So yeah, you know, people think it's just for kids. People think if you're older and you're into it that something's wrong with you. No, it's just a growing, different genre that a lot of people like. And there's a good side and a bad side to everything. There's some people that obsess over this stuff.
Yeah.
And then other people who, like me, who I just like it, you know.
But that's with anything.
With
Too much of
anything.
anything is not good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if you can figure out a way to make a living from it,
My goodness.
then
Yes.
you get to be around what you love all day and get paid for it. How cool is that? So let's talk about IronKingz.
IronKingz.
IronKingz. So is IronKingz used to be Frontline, or are they the same, or?
Frontline Christian Fellowship started as a Bible study that me and my brother taught, and people would come, and with any Bible study, people came and people went. But IronKingz is more my baby. IronKingz is the heart of IronKingz is just a hardcore ministry for people who really want to grow in Christ and help bring others to Christ, using whatever medium we have to. And so that's what IronKingz is.
Now, is the initiation to be a part of IronKingz is you got to go to see the midnight showing of whatever movie comes out?
You know, honestly, we don't do midnight showings like we used to, because now a lot of movie theaters, instead of having the midnight showing, they're having earlier showings, like at 7 or 8 or 9. And then people have to get up and go to work the next day.
But you will always be.
No, I'll always be.
Yeah.
I'm a diehard. So, no, that's not part of the initiation. But it really helps to show your dedication if you're willing to sit up and go to the late night movies. And then when you go to late night movies, you know, anybody who goes to a late night movie wants to be there.
Yeah.
So there's an energy and a connection there that you don't find when people are just going just to be going to see a movie.
Have you gone to one of the midnight showings and wish you hadn't have gone? Has it been a waste of time?
Yes, I just can't remember what movie it was. I went to a midnight showing, and the movie that I saw, and I can't remember what movie it was, it just was not good. And I was like, no, I could have stayed home for this. Yeah. I could have watched this on Netflix. Yeah.
But that doesn't happen very often.
Oh no. Because see, when I go see a movie at midnight, or I go see a movie on the day it comes out, it's gotta be ironclad. You know, you got Avengers: Age of Ultron coming out May 1st. You got the next Star Wars movie coming out. Movies like that, no. They aren't going to drop the ball because the fan base is too big.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm real ready to rock real steady on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
IMAX or 3D? Because the husband, he doesn't like all the bells and whistles, but you like the 3D, the IMAX, the big screen, the glasses and all that, or you just put the movie on the screen?
I love IMAX. Now, not every movie should be done in IMAX, but the big Michael Bay explosions and the Star Wars and the ships and the aliens, I want to see that in IMAX. And this is why. when I go to the movie, I'm not going to the movie just to see a movie. I'm going to have an experience.
Yeah.
And so when I leave, I want to feel like I've gone somewhere and come back. Okay. That's why not everybody can go to the movie with me. You know, if you're going to talk and play Pinchy Poo and stuff like that, no. No, because when I go, I've got to be focused.
Okay. Let's talk about Byron Shaffner. So you know you have videos on
Yes.
on YouTube, and I saw that you put your video clips. Now listen, we're going to overlay this section right here with some of the videos and stuff that you did, because I'm glad that you put like your little sermonettes. Those are totally awesome, and they're very inspiring. So we're going to put a link and make sure you check those out to your YouTube page. But the one I'm talking about is where you smash the brick with your fist.
At my black belt test.
At your black belt test.
Yeah.
Are those really bricks?
That was 4 bricks, I believe.
4 bricks.
Yeah, it was 4.
How does that really happen? I mean, is there like some physics involved, or you have to get like a certain spot so that you don't break your hand?
In martial arts, we're taught not to hit the object, but to hit through it. So the day I was going to break those bricks, I was supposed to break 3. But on my way up to the bricks, my instructor said put 1 more on. So she just threw 1 in just to be crazy. But when I smashed those bricks, I wasn't trying to hit the bricks. I was trying to hit the floor. So the physics involved is to hit dead in the center. And you have to be trained too. You know, the push-ups and strengthening your wrists and all that stuff. But when I smashed those bricks, I wasn't trying to hit the bricks. I was trying to hit the floor. So that meant the bricks were just something to go through. And that's how we do it.
What about the sword wielding? You're wielding the sword like you're King Aragon in Return of the King, Lord of the Rings.
Well, when I did that, I was imagining I was like someone like that.
Okay.
And matter of fact, that sword, it looked real and it looked sharp. And I could still do it with a sharp one, but because of the test and just to be on the safe side, I got something that looked that real. But I still could do it with a real one. It just would have been a little bit slower because the real sword would have been heavier. But it did look good, though.
Yeah, it looked great. And he had the yo.
And that was a long time ago too. So.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add? We're gonna wind down.
Anything that I would like to add?
Yeah.
Here's what I like to add. Listen, whether it's comics, cars, everybody has something that they like. But I just want to let you know this. No matter what you like, no matter what you do in life, don't put anything before God. There's nothing in your life that's greater than having a relationship with God through Jesus Christ. One day I'm going to die and I can't take none of this stuff with me. The same goes for you. And in life we prepare for many things, but are you preparing for eternity? Jesus said that he is the way, the truth, and the life. No person comes to the Father but by him. And therefore eternal life can only be found in Christ. So if you don't know Christ or are not following Christ, I really encourage you to make that decision today. That's it.
Who do you will your stuff to? Do you will it back to this place?
I've thought about that. If something happens to me, I've already started, not completely, I've already started making preparation and plans for different things to go to different people. Now there's some things that would just come back to this place because they would know exactly what to do with it. And then if Andy is the owner of the store, if he's still around, if I leave first, he'll give my family the best price. And then there are close friends who I know would really like some of the things that I have. And so I would make sure some of those things go to them. And as far as Kingdom is concerned, Kingdom's gonna go to my niece. Yeah.
Paige.
Paige.
Yeah.
Now I told Kingdom, you know, I really believe he and I are gonna be raptured out together. But if God has other plans, he'll go to my niece.
How can people get in touch with you and IronKingz Ministries?
You can look me up on YouTube, Byron C. Shaffner, Byron, middle initial C, Shaffner, SHAFFNER. And my email is lionface_07@yahoo.com. That's lionface Face, LIONFACE_07 at yahoo.com. And you can contact me through either medium, and I promise I'll respond. Yeah.
So thank you. Once again.
Thank you so much. I've always
This
wanted
is
to do
great.
something like this.
Okay, this is great. So,
Okay.
so that's it for our show, everybody. Thank you once again for another episode of Getting to Know, for watching the show. If you haven't already, like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you or someone you know would like to participate in the Getting to Know series, email us at info@6manprod, or you can like our Facebook page, 6Man Prod. That's 6, like the number 6, TH, man, MAN, Prod. So see you next time. Bye.